All right, boys. So, new episode, obviously. Hopefully we're in focus and we're not too dark or whatever, but I had a nice little video planned for you guys. I was going to take the car out and go drive it, drive it like it's supposed to be driven and all that good stuff and have a good time with it with the new motor in it because we just got done finishing that episode. So it's had around 60 miles on the car since we did that thing, and I went to get some pizza the other night, and unfortunately for some reason the oil pressure light came on the dash. So I'm basically driving there and I'm sitting outside in front of the pizza place waiting for my pizza to be picked up, and I'm like, why did my light just turn on? Like, it never turned on with the other motor. I never had any problems with the oil pressure except for when the car was completely out of oil itself. That's the only time I've ever had problems with it, with the actual oil light coming on, and I'm not sure what the deal is. So I was like, well, maybe I put the wrong oil in because I put 10W40 in because I couldn't find 2050. But obviously these motors run 2050. Just knock some stuff off. 1040, you only really run that if it's like super cold out, like negative degrees. But we got this from Walmart the other day. We can't see because it's all blurred out. But we got the Valvoline VR1 2050 from, so like I said, we got the 2050 from Walmart, and I went ahead and did that, changed out the sensor because I thought, well, maybe the sensor is bad that I put in because I bought a cheap one from Rock Auto, so maybe the sensor was garbage.
You're garbage. And you know it.
But no, the light still is on. I've already changed out the oil. I've already changed everything. Like, everything should be good to go, and it shouldn't be turning on. I don't understand why it's turning on, like I said. But I got to get a mechanical oil pressure tester here today or tomorrow and actually test it, because you got to take that sensor back out and put the oil pressure sensor right there, or the mechanical gauge there, and just go ahead and I guess test it out and see what the actual PSI. It's supposed to be, the light turns on when it's 5 PSI or below, and normal running temperatures, like cold, is supposed to be like 60 PSI, and then, or somewhere around like 60, and then when it warms up it's somewhere between 7 and 28 compared to the what the Bentley manual says on it. So I don't know what happened. I did swap over the oil pump from the last motor, but like I said, I never had any issues with the oil pump light coming on. I'm not sure if it just wasn't working like as best because the piston rings were leaking and I had low compression. So it might have been a combination of the piston rings and having the oil pump have to push, more than it needed to, like for a normal motor. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So yeah, we have back to having no car again. So in this episode, we're going to swap out the oil pump. I already ordered it from Island Engineering, which is all the way in California. I'm all the way in the Midwest, so it's probably gonna take like fucking almost a week to get here, I would assume. We did get that ordered. I'm gonna go ahead and test the oil pressure here tomorrow or whatever, and see what the actual numbers are. Because I've already replaced the sensor and the wiring still works, so I'm not really sure if it's just the oil pressure itself. So we're gonna go ahead and get the mechanical gauge and actually test it to see what it is. And if it isn't that, and it's some kind of other issue, like wiring issue, then that'll be good. But if it's actually the oil pressure being super low on the oil pump, even though, like I said, it was just fine, even though it's a higher mile motor that it came off of, it was still fine, it worked. But alright, so let's see if we can see in here or not. Probably not, but if you see over here in this corner, this in light, the one right there with the oil, that is the oil pressure sensor light. So that came on while I was sitting there, so I'm like, what the fuck? Because I just shot some clips of the short that you might have seen on the channel, where I was romping on it and getting the motor opened up and putting some actual pressure on the motor to see how it feels. But after that, pretty much it started with the oil pressure light. So obviously it can't be like piston rings or anything, so it has to be the oil pump, which is unfortunate because, like I said, we just swapped this over, and now I'm gonna have to raise the motor a little bit and get everything basically raised up a little bit so we can clear to get the oil pan bolts, which are down here. So underneath my headers, which you probably cannot see, but if you see that little wire down there, that goes to the oil pressure sensor that's inside the block. So that is what I replaced. I figured it was just a faulty sensor. So I did that, replaced it with the heavier oil, and I started up, and it still does it. It doesn't really have any like knocking or anything, so I'm not really sure. Like, it doesn't have any telltale signs of it actually being low pressure. But we're gonna have to take the oil pan off, which I was so glad that it didn't leak, but now we're gonna have to take it off, and then it's probably gonna end up leaking, which is gonna be annoying. Like I said, very unfortunate, but we don't know for sure what the pressure is until we put the pressure tester on it tomorrow or the next day. And but I already got one coming, so if we actually don't need the oil pump and it's just some kind of other issue, then I'll just go ahead and keep that oil pump and use it for my stroker M20, which I'm building as well. Just one thing after another. I do a good job doing all the timing and everything, and the motor's all good, no leaks whatsoever, and then the oil pump decides to fail when it was literally just working fine with the other motor, and it never came on, except for when I had literally no motor oil in the motor because it was, you know, burnt up. See, we're bringing inside here on the cluster, since we got a cluster that actually works now. All right, so if you can see down here, we got 65 miles on it. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I guess we get back with you when we figure out the pressure numbers and then go from there. So alright boys, so we got the wide angle lens on, but good news, went to Harbor Freight, bought the $30 engine oil pressure tester, which is still over here hooked up. But I'll show you, I'll put in clips while I'm talking, but took the sensor off, got the gauge hooked up. So anyways, got the gauge here. It's obviously the car's not on, but we did the gauge and everything was correct. So it was at the correct pressure when it's cold start, and it was at the correct pressure during when the car was warm, so everything's good to go. It has to be a wiring issue, which I'm not really sure what the wiring issue is, but I have decided that next month I'm going to, or yeah, next month coming up, or whenever I get the cash, like $140, I'm going to give me an oil pressure sensor. So basically it goes in the same spot where this thing is plugged in at, and you don't have to worry about having the dummy light come on, but you get an actual, like the numbers like on your dash in front of you. So instead of using a gauge where I don't really have a space to use the gauge at, this basically just goes right here. Goes right here above the radio, if you could see right here. So basically one of these, this is my voltmeter, which is wrong, but I'm going to put it right here. So basically it gives you all the wiring for that stuff, and then you can just throw it there, so it gives me the actual pressure when I'm driving, which I need for this motor and the stroker motor. So I'll be happy to get it and install it. But I guess we'll continue this episode with doing some driving clips after we get, you know, time to get the car out and drive it, and give you guys my overall thoughts. I'll probably put like another 40 or 50 miles on it before, but I want to do some driving tomorrow or whatever, and just give it a little test, maybe do some spirited driving around like the curvy roads in town, just to kind of give my overall thoughts on what this motor is compared to the other one. I also replaced my O2 sensor, which I'll throw a photo in right here of the other one that was completely destroyed. And yeah, we're pretty much good to go. So everything is all good. I gotta unhook the pressure testers and put the sensor back in. I don't know if I'm gonna hook up the wire again. I might just hook it up, just have it hooked up so it's not dangling. But the engine light's just going to be on even though the pressure is completely fine. So super happy that I don't have to replace the pump. Like I said, I'll just keep that pump for my stroker motor, put it in storage with the stroker motor, and forget about it, not worry about it. I mean, it's paid for and out of the way, so I don't have to really worry about it. Also got a magnetic drain plug and shit like that, so basically all good to go. So let's get this car taken down and put it back on the ground, and then we're basically, you know, ready to drive it normally, and, you know, not be afraid to drive it where the engine's going to blow up because the pressure is completely fine. So it was a scare, I guess, but I kind of figured it might have been a wiring problem, but I obviously wanted to make sure and check with a mechanical gauge that can't be messed up by wiring. So but yeah, let's get this on the ground, and we should be all good to go. Alright boys, so we're back in the car. I know the camera is not probably straight. I'll straighten it up in post. But I was going to do some exhaust clips for you, but I literally just lost the mic and the suction cup mount on the road somewhere. So I'll have to backtrack after doing this little clip, but it just pisses me off. But we're just gonna do a little drive, and I don't have the camera on the odometer and stuff either because I can't seem to find my other GoPro mount. So I guess we're just gonna wing it. But we're just gonna kind of go over my thoughts on the M20 swap and how it has been for me. We got 177 miles on the motor, so hopefully this sun I can block it with my head because it's like right in a bad spot. But I'll have to go back and get that damn mic. Hopefully I can find it. That's pissing me off. But yeah, we're just gonna go for a tiny little drive down the road, just kind of giving my overall thoughts on it compared to what my M20 was. You know, completely ruined basically. So yeah, we're just gonna go take some clips and then maybe do some flyby clips and then maybe like a little edit at the end or whatever, just to kind of close off the video, because this is going to be one of the last videos of the year when it comes to E30 content, because I don't really have anything going on with the car right now, so aside from building a stroker, but that's not really ready to do any episodes on yet. So but we're just gonna, like I said, take you for a drive and see how it goes. Man, the sun is in the worst spot right now. But we're just going to go down this little road. It's kind of curvy, but there's a lot of trees and everything, so kind of show off the fall vibes, because it is about October 22nd, or 27th, 28th, one of the two. A few days before Halloween, but it's about 58 degrees out, so pretty nice out. Overall thoughts of how the motor handles compared to the other one, obviously, it just feels like a whole brand new car. I still am going to be working out a couple other kinks. Like I said, I thought the oil pump was bad, but it ended up being the sensor, or the wiring for the sensor, so that's kind of just unfortunate, but better than the actual oil pump. The other oil pump hasn't came in yet, so well, yeah, just going to kind of give you an overall thought process on how I feel about the motor. Like, if you were coming for like a 325e and you were to get into a 325i, I would assume it would feel similar to the same, because my other motor was so bad. But yeah, it revs a lot freer, it feels a lot better on the road. The biggest thing is like comfortability. Like, I don't have to be scared that my motor is literally going to blow up, which is obviously like the reason I didn't want to drive the other motor, because I was afraid that it was going to literally throw a rod. This motor's a lot quieter. Of course, it's not a race car, it's still a stock M20, but it actually sounds really good. It feels really good. I can get, you know, past 3,000 RPM without really having to, you know, worry about the car blowing up, essentially. But yeah, they just freaking did that road and it makes it super loud. But it's definitely been nice having a car where I can actually drive it and not feel like it's going to completely mess up. Kind of like when I drove it, like when I dated it like 10 years ago, except it's just a little bit better now, and it has a few other things done to it, of course, like the air suspension and stuff like that. But yeah, I really haven't had any issues driving it so far. No leaks, which is a very good thing. The clutch figured itself out. I guess it just needed to be driven a little bit, but about to go through this little, there's like a bunch of tree overhangs and stuff like that down this other road. But yeah, the motor feels pretty good. I am going to be changing out the motor mounts on the car, because I have poly bushings right now. It just brings too much vibration in the cabin. I really don't want to deal with it anymore. So I found out you can use E28 M5 bushings, engine mounts, and they're rubber, and they're still a riser mount compared to the stock M20 ones, which is obviously helpful if you're driving a lower car, even though I have a skid plate on it. But yeah, I'll do some exhaust clips and some intake clips and everything after we get parts, but it seems to be running pretty good. We do still have a slight exhaust leak that's on the header, but that's nothing to do with the motor. That's just people who made the exhaust had issues with the flange and stuff. But we'll do a tiny little pull. I'm not going to beat on the car. Like I would say, it's basically like a lowered stance car. It's not no fucking, you know, street car or anything until I get the other motor in. I could never do this in the other motor. The motor would have literally blown up or thrown a rod or anything like that. That was about 65, so nothing too crazy. Obviously it's just a back road, but it's a really nice road. Like when the leaves start changing, as you can see from the overhead cam, all the trees coming over, it looks really nice. Since it is fall time in Indiana, it looks really nice with all the colors changing. So we will be doing some more photos here soon. I know we're looking a little dark now, but it's kind of hard to keep everything good. Sunglasses. Gotta watch everybody else driving as well. There are some things that transferred over from the other motor which I have to address, which is something to do with like the idle, and I just changed the O2 sensor out. This is what the old one looked like. Man, come on, bro. But yeah, we're gonna pull over this church and shoot a couple of clips. Like I said, I'll have to go back and look for my goddamn mic. Unbelievable. Oh, nice. Alright, so I'll see you over there.
Jupiter.
Alright boys, so that's going to be the end of this episode. Like I said, it's just kind of like an overall thoughts of what I think about the motor. Like I said, I got to do a few things. Got to figure out the idle problem, so I came over from the other motor, so maybe the IAC needs cleaned. Have to take that off. The mass airflow is already brand new, so it literally got done when I did the swap. So it might have some gunk in there from the last motor, of course, because the last motor was terrible. But we'll see how those little clips came out when I do the editing for what they are. It's kind of windy out right now, but I lost the mic. I have no idea where it is. I retraced where I went, and it either got ran over and then flew off the road, or someone picked it up, or whatever. But yeah, we're not really going to be doing anything else to the car right now for probably a little bit. So yeah, we're not really going to be doing any more episodes for this year. I'll probably have I got about 3 episodes that I'm going to do this year. Before the end of the year, I'm going to do like what's done to my E30 again, and then basically like I'll talk about what's the plans for next year for the car. But I tried to I'll try to record the exhaust tone for you guys, and then I also put the mic in the intake, so I'm not sure how that's going to come out or how it might sound or whatever, so that might be in the clip, that might not be, but I just wanted to have all that accessible for what it is. But pretty happy with it. Like I said, just a few more things to iron out, but nothing too crazy. Looking pretty nice. I still got to get the side skirts painted. I just haven't taken them off and done that process of having my girl paint them for me. My girl Angel, she's the one that did the front and the rear, which the front is already basically ruined. I mean, not ruined, but it's messed up. The repair that I fixed, because I've bottomed out a handful of times, is broken in the same spot again. So that's broken. There's another spot that's broken. I'll flip your arm real quick. All right, so yeah, right here, like I said, it's been broken because I've ran into stuff. Obviously, I'm bagged, but I can still, you know, run into stuff because I ride like normal ride height, and then it's cracked right there from being basically ran into the ground or whatever. So it's cracked right here with the paint. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, it still looks okay. It's like not, you know, completely broken. So if you're not up on it, you really don't see it, but it is unfortunate that I did all the work to it and just got demolished, basically. But that's what happens when you got a low car. So all right, so back to the ugly face cam. So so basically everything's done for this year. I'm going to be getting another BBS front from a friend, so I'll have a video on that one. It's another new old stock piece for the collection, actually for another E30, but it's going to be for the collection for now. So I got that. Then I'm getting a new steering wheel that I'm going to be running for the next season until I get the stroker motor done, and then work onto the body work, because I got paint flaking off now, and of course we got rust to fix, so I got to find somebody to do that. But we're going to be rocking a new steering wheel for next season, because I do have the BBS 3-spoke that I still haven't used yet, but I got to get that recovered, and I don't want to do that until the BBS kit is on and everything, because I want to put everything in there one time. I'm possibly also going to get the Epsilons redone. I don't know what just happened to my camera right there, but still gonna be the same combo, except I'm gonna get the face probably gold plated, because that's what's gonna be on the stroker motor. So gold plate the wheels and then probably chrome the lips instead of having them polished, just so I don't have to deal with it, and it looks a lot better. But this motor will allow me to drive the car around with no issues and not be afraid to, you know, take the car somewhere, because it's literally gonna blow up from the other motor. So I'll probably do a breakdown of that other motor probably next year, just to see what happened to it, and that one's going to get rebuilt. But the motor that's in this currently is going to be basically for the E30 coupe build. So it's basically going to come back out of this when the stroker goes in, and then it's going to get a turbo on that one for the the coupe build. So that's the plan for this motor. But let me get all this camera stuff loaded back up. Unfortunate on the mic and the suction cup mount that I just lost, but I guess it is what it is. So yeah, thanks for watching as always. If you guys want to check out the 3 parts where I did the install, check those out, and see you guys in the next video. Like I said, probably the next video is going to be what's done to my E30. That's probably going to be the last video for like season content, except for like, you know, a couple small things. I'm going to be doing that the oil sensor install, like I said, to check the oil pressure. So I'll be having another episode on that for install for this winter. And yeah, that might actually be for next year's content. I'm not really sure yet, but thanks for watching as always. Peace.